Hey everybody, welcome to Your Unpaid Therapist.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Your Unpaid Therapist.
I'm not getting paid. I didn't even get a donut.
Oh, that's sexy though. I like it.
I'm Valery Milagros Ortiz.
I don't know.
I am your host, Alikona. She's away. Bradford.
This is Your Unpaid Therapist. Shoo-wah, cha-cha. Hello everybody, welcome to another fabulous episode of Your Unpaid Therapist. I am your brightly colored host, Alikona Bradford, joined by my bestie who kind of looks low-key like a Barbie, Valery Ortiz.
I feel like you're in like the brights, I'm in the pastels. I love it.
Yeah. You're very much giving me Barbie vibes for some reason.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a last minute choice, as you saw. Yes, welcome you guys. You know, today is fun. We have guests, and it's been a little minute since it's just been Alikona and I, which is fun because you get the real raw conversations, the unpaid bestie therapist kind of talks that we really started this whole podcast on. So here we are, and we start with our songs. I can start it. This one was tough for me because I had a completely different vibe and dang it, see now I'm gonna get vibe and song picked out, and then my morning changed, and so I have a different song, and I'm not even gonna sing the whole chorus because it's not even like the whole chorus goes. Because it's you'll see. But I'll sing this part. It's a Justin Bieber song for you Bieber fans.
Bieber.
But the part that resonated most with me is this part. It goes, young blood thinks there's always tomorrow. Dun, 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 dun. I miss your touch on nights when I'm hollow. Da, 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 da. And then it keeps going like, I know you crossed a bridge that I can't follow. And the rest of the song is oh wait, I forgot. I miss you more than life. You know that song? Anyway, it's called Ghost.
I just heard that, yeah.
Yeah. I can't relate to all the lyrics in this song, but literally every time I hear the beginning of that song, Youngblood thinks there's always tomorrow. Man, it just hit like I think, and I don't know the order that we're going to air these, but not too long ago, a friend of mine, well, it's been a few years, but he had cancer, and it's a friend of a friend. I wasn't like super duper close. Anyway, his celebration of life just happened, but just this morning, my own father was in the hospital because he had another stroke, and he's fine. Everything's okay. He's having some blurred vision. They're doing CAT scans, all those things. But it just all that kind of stuff always hits just how quickly things can change, which is very much in tune with what our episode is about, of just like patterns and just noticing things that are either kind of always consistent or things that abruptly can change on a dime. So that is my song and the attachment to it. So I hope you have a bubbly, happy song.
I do, but I just want to take a moment and pause and say that I love Justin Bieber. Like I used to be like, he's so obnoxious with that like hair. What is he doing? And then I saw a documentary on him and was like, holy cow, this guy is so incredibly talented. And as he got older, he like grew into his own skin, and I was like, okay, he's kind of cute, but too young for me, but still kind of cute. So anyways, which is ironic. Oh my God. And Valerie knows why. But anyways, my song is based on something that Valerie doesn't know I did the other day. So you're going to find out too. But the ditty starts like this. Dun, 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 dun. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. That's not the part of it. New York, New York. So I had a show this weekend in Connecticut, and after the show, I was supposed to drop my co-host off and this FMX guy off at the airport, and I had a whole day to myself and was like, well, now what? Like everybody's leaving on Sunday, and usually they leave on Monday. And
Um,
by chance, my co-host, one of his flights got delayed to where he was gonna miss his what do you call it, connecting flight, and would have gotten
mhm.
stuck in Atlanta overnight. And he's like, well, I don't want to stay overnight in an airport. I'll just stay here in Connecticut. And so we're Googling stuff to do, and we're like, there is nothing to do here on a Sunday. And he was like, I mean, Manhattan's like 2.5 hours away. And I went, let's go. He was like, for real? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so we literally drove at 7 o'clock and I got to Manhattan at 9:30,
I
went to
love it.
Times Square. We went to the top of Rockefeller at the observation deck and rode this beam that takes you like 10 feet in the air, like cleared to the edge, and they take your photo like dangling on this beam. And
I love
it
it.
yeah, it was so fun. Like I've been a few times, he's never been, but everything about the energy of New York is just fucking
Mhm.
awesome. Like the theater district and the artsiness and the diversity of people and just such a cool vibe. And so I didn't sleep at all. Like we left at 2 o'clock in the morning, drove 2.5 hours, got to the airport a little after 4 o'clock, hopped on a plane, went back to LA. So I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
yeah, this is why I sound crazy and congested. My immune system is like, bitch, why have you not slept? But yeah, I had so much
I
fun.
love it. I love that. I love those, like, I feel like those kind of adventures and things like out of the whim that you didn't like plan so much are always just the best. They just hit
Yes.
different. I love that.
Yes.
And you're so good at that. Like just let's up and go.
Yeah, 100%. And this is actually a great transition into today's topic.
Mhm.
Um, gosh, I hope my co-host doesn't listen to this show. But anyway, so I was telling Valerie because we were having conversation as we often do. I was sitting in the sauna, sweating my hiney off, and sharing my weekend's frustrations with her, and realizing like we so walk through life with these subconscious patterns and don't realize it.
Mhm.
And to recognize what you're doing and constantly doing is like, how do I change this? You know,
Mhm.
whether it's like constantly dating like the bad boy guy that's like so not good for you. And you're like, why do I always attract these men who are like, meh? Or like even the type of friends that come into your life often, or the lack
Yeah.
of, or job opportunities, whatever. Like we go through life repetitively doing these things and we don't even realize why. We just know we're upset about them. Um,
Mhm.
and the transition is this. And I just texted Valerie this. It's so crazy because the activities that I do with this person who is my friend, my coworker, are things that you would do on a date or you would love to do on a date. You know what I mean? Like I would love to
Mhm.
randomly just go to New York with this dude. And me and him, we've gone to the park and we've like gone down slides together and swing sets together. And we went to Niagara Falls together. And it's just like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we've done all these things that when I reflect back, because a mutual friend who hired us was like, ooh, does so and so like you? And I'm like, no. But we were driving in the car and I was singing some random song that he thought I would never know. And he's like, oh, here's something funny too, Val. I was talking to him and I was like, you know how like they say men have like big dick energy? What is it
Uh-huh.
for a woman? Like, is it big booby energy? And he was like,
Big kitty energy.
yeah, there you go.
Or
Well, he called
because it's all also the power of the P. I feel, we've
yes.
all heard that. So maybe it's that too.
Yeah. Well, he was like, "Is it big coochie energy?" And I was like, first of all, who says coochie anymore?"
Coochie.
But no,
Yes.
because I was like, having a big coochie is not flattering. Like, men don't want that. And so we couldn't figure it out. But as I was singing this song, he's like, whatever we decide it's called, he's like, you're really like, you've got that big coochie energy right now. And he's like, and it's kind of cute. And I was just like, oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought to myself, why is that? Like, why am I not attracted to you? You're a really great guy, and we obviously have a lot of fun together, but I'm just not. And then I look at the person that I'm currently attracted to, and I'm like, okay, Alikona, you're a basket case because this person is like a combination of two other people you've dated in the past, and it didn't end well. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and what's interesting about it too is that um subconsciously you did because you didn't go into it knowing all of the similarities between the other two. So
Mhm.
that in and of itself is such an interesting thing and goes into that unknowing of following certain patterns that you just subconsciously live and execute and are aware or unaware, and then like very much with you that just recently happened when it all kind of like comes into the light. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like we are innately physically initially attracted to people, right? Like you go to the grocery store,
Right.
Valerie, right? And you see a dude. Let's pretend hypothetically you're single and you're like, "Oh, he's hot."
Hmm.
Nothing about him advertises
Right.
that, I have emotional issues.
Intelligence.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
sure, sure, sure.
nothing. And then later on, you get to know this person and you're like, "Oh, right, you have mommy issues," or "Oh, right, you have like insecurity issues." And you're like, "What the fuck was it about?" Like, is it their energy? Do you know what I mean? Like, is
Hmm.
it like their energy that screams something that causes you in your brain to be like, "He's physically attractive. I like him," but really it's like he's a basket case and that's why I like him.
Yeah. And I mean, look, what we've talked about before is sometimes falling in love, or that's even way too far, falling in like with people who need us. Because if there was like ever a point in our life that for whatever reason, that was what that was what felt comfortable and like your safe zone, or you're just like a giver, people who are in the medical fields, we were talking about earlier, when we were on the phone, they're just natural nurturers. And I have another friend that we were talking about who um quoted herself and saying, "I'm done being Captain Save a Ho." And I always
Oh.
thought that was so funny because really when she discovered that about herself, we're like, yeah, actually shit, that is your pattern. Like these people and these who needed saving, who needed your help. Um and knowing that about yourself and then looking at these patterns of just like, shit, damn it, everybody, why do all these people have this or these things in common?
It's bizarre. And I love the fact that you had said, Valerie, and I want you to share with everybody else, like how
Mhm.
you said you went to this therapist because your partner
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time, yeah, was seeing a therapist and she had asked you the thing. So share with that.
Oh, yeah. So, over well over a decade ago, I went to therapy because my ex was in therapy and going through a lot of stuff. And I remember this therapist, it was protocol to for families involved with the things that these people were going through to also do therapy with the person and without, right? Separately by yourself.
Mhm.
She goes to me, she's like, "I want you to think about what's kept you in this relationship. What are you getting out of it?" And when she said that, and I mean, think about that. What are you getting out of it? That to me just sounded so rude, so harsh, so blunt, just cold. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Really? Like, what?
Mhm.
Huh? Who says that? And this is a very sensitive, it was and is to many people, could be a very sensitive subject and a very dark time and confusing time. I was
Yes.
in my 20s. There's just a
Well,
lot going on.
and also too, not that this was happening in your relationship, but let's just say you were a woman who was being battered by her husband.
Oh my
And
God.
for a therapist to be like, "Well, what are you getting out of it?" And you're like, "Nothing, my ass
Correct.
beat." Like, "What are you talking about?"
Exactly. So that's kind of great example. That's kind of how I felt. Like, what am I getting out of it? Stress, bitch. Like
Yeah.
tears, depression. Well, but then after, I never went back, by the way. I was like ill. Like I just, there's a way to say things to people, and now I understand where she was going with that, but at the time
Mhm.
I didn't receive it well, and her tone, like the way she gave it was also very just not compassionate. So I never went back, and that was that. Years happened, months, whatever. That relationship ended, but I never forgot it because it was so just, I don't know, it just shook me. And then I went to another therapist years later, and basically, and to talk about kind of the same things from that relationship, and she was just like, you you've been out of this a lot longer than you know mentally. So, yes, I was in the relationship for X amount of years, but mentally, I had left and had been gone.
Mhm.
And basically, what she was trying to get at is what I was getting out of that relationship is feeling needed, feeling
Mhm.
wanted,
Mhm.
feeling like I could be the one to change this person and help them and save them.
Mhm.
And I was, and that person told me that. But that is, I wouldn't wear that with a badge of honor because then
Mhm.
it it spiraled into you could also be the death of me.
Mm.
So, which that gets super dark, but that also was kind of the balance, the scale balance of that, right? Like you could be the person that saves them, but you could also be the person that eventually takes them to suicidal thoughts or their death if you are not in their life. So I don't wear that the other part with like glory or anything like that because it did go to the other side. And everything's obviously a lot better now, which is why I can talk about it. But it was an interesting thing, like you and I were talking about Alikona on what in me needed to feel needed, you
Yeah.
know? And
And
I
that
and
is No, I was gonna
Mhm,
say that is so common,
mhm.
especially for us women. We love, for some reason, to take care of. I mean, and maybe because we're
Yeah.
brought up to be nurturers, but the number one thing most women want to feel is like we're that person that helped change that person's life, and
Mhm.
that makes
For
us
the
feel
better.
important and
Yeah.
special. And if we're special, then we deserve the love of this other person and almost
Sure.
expect it. So when you
Sure.
don't get it from that other person who is also broken, then it's,
Mhm.
like, hurtful, and what's wrong with me? Am I not enough? Did I not do enough? And it just goes on and on.
Yeah. And what's cool though is to see the progression of just because we were talking about attraction and
Mhm.
patterns of attraction and obviously that relationship and those patterns are so different than the people that I met and spent some time with thereafter. Um and the exciting part about that is just visualizing growth and having the proof, just like, okay,
Girl,
this
you
is
got the
so
proof. I haven't gotten the proof yet.
right. But no, I mean, look, come on, decades. Let's
Yeah.
put that into perspective. But also too with you, I mean, you also have been in a really long relationship for a really long time. So it's like you haven't had the practice to get the proof. Um, but I feel like obviously
Yeah.
once, the more people come into your life and that you'll see that balance again.
Well,
I
I
think, right?
oh, go ahead.
Don't you agree?
Well, here's the thing, like, because you and I were just talking and us wanting to talk about, like, awareness, and I've always been proud of the awareness that I have accumulated throughout the years. Because 'cause I'm
Mhm.
constantly, you guys know, like, constantly taking some sort of class to learn about something, whether it's about brain patterns or meditation or breath work or sexuality or everything. Like, I'm always on a quest to learn and grow and get better, and I always feel like I'm so proud of myself, like, and there was a part of me because for a while, I wasn't interested in dating, like, no one was attractive to me at all. If
Yeah.
anything, I was like, ew, men are disgusting right now because I'm really realizing like the misogyny in this world and blah, 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 like all the things,
Mhm.
right? And then I got excited and was like, ooh, like now that I've done all this work on myself, like what kind of man will I attract into my life? Like, cause I've said on the
Yes.
podcast, I think where you're at currently energetically is what you attract. And I'm feeling like I'm in such a good place. And the next person that I attract, while like physically very attractive and a lot of fun, like the more I find out about this person, the more I'm like, oh shit. Mirror, it's a mirror, and he's showing me all the things, like all the things that I'm frustrated
Hmm.
about with him. I'm like, oh, I do that too. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, I'm not as healed as I thought I was. Damn it. Like,
But wait, hold on. Wouldn't you say because the simple fact that you were able to even say mirror, wouldn't you say that that is healing
growth.
or right? Right? But you're on that healing path. Obviously, I don't think anybody is 100% forever healed. I think there is always growth and change and it's a constant. Like I don't think it's like, well, all that bullshit trauma, it's
It's gone.
done. It's gone.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. But I think for you to even have that awareness, that's exactly what you just said. That is growth.
I won't.
And let's also say you didn't go into this let's call it a situationship thinking like you're going to grow old together.
No.
So I
Yeah.
think that's also important because it's not like you're like, I don't know.
No.
I think that makes a difference.
It does, but I mean, it's just fascinating. It goes along
Hmm.
with the whole thing of like
It is.
how I can look at somebody and be like, they're so hot, like they're so hot. And then the more I learn about them, the more I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You got like parental issues and hold on. You're a child of an alcoholic too. Oh, hey. Like just like certain things that I'm like,
Hmm.
damn. And the thing I was telling Valerie is like, and this is part of awareness, and this is part of what I encourage like all of you guys to do at home in whatever in life, and talk to your friends and ask your friends like, have you noticed anything
Hmm.
that I consistently tend to do? Am I a people pleaser? Whatever the case may be.
Mm.
Because yes, awareness is the first step. But I realized, and I'm not gonna, y'all know, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but like maybe in the recent last year of my life, did I recognize and realize that I am attracted to men who basically give breadcrumbs, right? And don't really pay much attention to me, but when they do pay attention to me, I get such a high off of it. I'm just like,
Hmm.
oh my God, so and so did something for me and it's so sweet, it's so amazing. And somebody like Valerie would be like, yeah, that's normal. Like they should be doing that all the time. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh.
It's funny that you say that. One of a really OG best friend of mine, um, she's just got herself, and this person, but I'm not going to say their name. Got back into the dating world, and she said that this gentleman was like, okay, give me your availability, and I'll handle the rest. And so she said the dates, and she's like, okay, cool. So do you want me to like, they're just meeting, pick you up, send a car for you. Like, what are you comfortable with? And she was like, what? But she said that as soon as this man said, I will handle the rest, she about like lost her shit. And I was like, and this is a 40-year-old woman. And I was like, and I'm sorry, but that's sad. I was like, the fact that you got so excited that a man said, I will handle the rest, like, handle the date that I'm asking you to go on, that's the bare motherfucking minimum. And the fact that we're even entertaining this as some like amazingness is not okay. Like, and I said, and she was like, it is sad. It's sad that everybody else has been so sorry that this one person actually planning a date like
It's
how it's
impressive.
supposed to be done was exactly impressive. And there was other things that this gentleman is actually really great qualities that he has, but I was like, fuck, like that's what we're working with here. Like that's no.
And it's so true. When you just said that right now, I was starting to get impressed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he did?
Exactly. I mean, by the way, David did that with me, and I mean, not that he was the first,
But it's
but it
rare.
is it is a little bit more rare for first date type things. I think especially now with the apps and the meeting online, people are a little bit more comfortable with like, oh, what do do you want to do some coffee, or so if a man actually does say, hey, I got reservations at 7 o'clock, blah, whatever it is, like, okay, I see you.
Right.
I appreciate
Let's
that.
talk about how,
Um,
hold on. You said that and made me think of something that I was like, I went bowling with somebody and afterwards they like picked up my shoes and took it to the counter for me. And I was like,
mhm.
oh, that's so nice. I was like,
Yeah.
you're so stupid. Like, really? Really? That was so
Well,
simple.
that is nice. Look, if anybody's touching anybody's,
My sweaty shoes. Right.
that is nice.
Oh
Uh,
man.
no,
Um,
I think, and it was interesting though, but because of my friend's previous patterns, the way that this man was showing up was different from some of the things of these other people. So of course, that's like attraction, attraction, attraction.
mhm.
And you had brought up how um I have said in the past, like physical attraction
Mhm.
isn't my go-to, and it's true. Like it's not like that's not the first thing that gets me with somebody. Um and It is a feeling. It is that. And so I think that's also what's happening to my friend. Like she's such a independent. I can do, and you're very much like this too, Alikona. I can and I do everything for myself. So being I actually just sent a reel to David because I had a big smile on my face. And he's like, "What are you over there smiling about?" And I was like, "I'm going to send it to you," because there was a man describing how he planned this date and he took this lady, didn't tell her, out of town, said, "Pack your bags. This is the kind of clothes, blah, blah, blah." Fast forward to he's taking her to this Dolly Parton concert that like never happened, and she's a huge fan, and she was just like, "Ah, seriously?" She's like, "Had I known, like I would have packed like different clothes," cuz she, I guess, dresses like Dolly and has boots and all this stuff. And then he then goes to show her, "Well, this is why I told you not to touch this bag," because he's like, "Because what if maybe I told your friends and your friends went into your closet and packed it for you?" Sure
Oh,
enough, that's what he did. So there was a whole bag of all her like bustiers and boots and all the shit. And I was like, and of course all the comments are like, "Okay, so that's the example of if he wanted to, he would." Da da
yeah.
da da da. And that's what my friend is feeling right now. Like somebody is letting her breathe. Someone's taking over. And because it is so different, and it's for people who I think all the three of us sit in this like, we can be very alpha when we want to be. When somebody just takes control, it feels just so good to just, "Oh man, I don't have to worry about this."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I have two things that I'm sitting on that I want to respond with. So I'm going to rewind a little bit in how you said, um, looks are not the first thing for you. Like, sure,
Right.
you
Well, there has
initially
to
are
be an initial attraction
attractive.
for sure,
Yeah. And then how they
but
make you
that won't
feel.
drive the relationship. Yeah.
Yes, and I will admittedly say that I'm so fucking superficial that I'm not the same way. Like,
I know.
initially, looks are important to me. I am very picky. I do have a particular type, and it
Mhm.
is the commercially popular, you know, very in shape, tall, baby face, this, that, the third. Like, I have a specific type.
Mhm.
But I feel like looks were so important to my mom growing up. Always. Like she was so on me
Oh.
about what I looked like, my skin, my weight, my na na na. And so I'm just used to it was just such a value instilled in me that I think that's why when I initially look at people, I'm picky. I always tell Matt Marr, I'm like, I
Hmm.
can go to Disneyland and not find anyone attractive. And I know that Disneyland is not like the hot spot for hotties, but the point is, it's a lot of people concentrated in one area, and I can't seem to find one damn dude that I think is remotely
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that's
so
a hard place, especially for your type.
yes,
Your type,
exactly.
unless they're daddies, they're not hanging out at with Mickey and
Disneyland.
friends, right?
Yeah. But that said,
Hmm.
not everybody that I've been involved with has looked like a men's fitness model. So there
Mhm.
was energy, essence, and swag and
That's
how they
true.
made me feel that eventually changed that for me. That I was like, oh yeah, I like this person. And by the way, it's really hypocritical of me. Let's just talk about the fact that I will own that I am not women's model USA pageantry beautiful, and I'm over
Ah!
here
Yes,
expecting
you
men to
are.
be like perfect. No, I'm not.
Yes.
Um,
See, this will be
anyway.
the constant fight. Like, and can come at us and DM us. You can DM Alikona directly. I just can't.
No, that's a lie. That is a
No,
lie.
we literally just had this conversation not too long ago, y'all, and like, and we're not. We don't need to tell you your age, but obviously you're not in your 20s, and so to not be in your 20s and to be in the physical shape and just and look, fuck that. Outside of physical shape, just um your natural genes. Like I would put money on, from somebody who grew up in Vegas, later part of your life, that most people and our listeners would be like, "Yeah, bitch, you are not average. You don't look like anybody sitting up in Wyoming, like at your
I have
age."
orange hair. I mean, of course I
But
don't. And
no, but no,
listen,
outside of that, I've seen you with your brown hair and no makeup. Oh, well,
Girl,
both
that
at the
is
same time,
no.
but
Listen, Linda, okay?
I
I can
nope.
control we're gonna talk over each other. I can control my physical body and what it looks like by going to the gym. I cannot control what my face looks like. I am stuck with
Right.
this
That's my
face.
point. Thank you for proving my point.
I
So
don't like
exactly.
it.
Well, just because you don't doesn't mean that like the masses would agree with you. That's what it
Anyway,
like anyway. I we all so you can continue on your point.
I don't even know what my point is anymore.
Your
Oh,
point was that
oh,
you shouldn't be talking because you're not in that category, but
shut up.
that's where you're wrong.
I know where I was going with this. So I'm going to hit topic number 2 about your
Mhm.
friend and the friend that was like so impressed by this guy, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
there's this person I follow on Instagram. His name is Chris something or other. I can give you guys in the description if you really want to follow him. He's hilarious and fun and amazing and super gay, but raised by a mother who was super pro woman and taught him a lot about like how to treat a woman.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times he'll get on his soapbox and be like, ladies, you like to write because he does like advice stuff, right? And you wait around for this dude and he does not like you. Like he's funny. Point is,
Mhm.
he actually called women out and he's like, I hate to do this, but ladies, I'm gonna call you out. For those of you mothers that have sons that are good looking or whatever, and you allow your sons to act in a certain way growing up because he's just being a boy, or he's
Mhm.
dating all these girls at once in high school, but it's just high school, and he was like, skirt, no. No, for those of you who allow your sons to do the bare minimum or
Mhm.
date multiple girls and you just like kiki about it, you are now unleashing, when he's an adult, a weapon on all the single women in the world. You are now unleashing a man, sending him out into the world to go off and hurt women because he doesn't know any better, because you didn't put him in check when he was wrong as a child, because you babied him too much, because you did so many things for him that he doesn't know how to do them for himself, or he doesn't think to do them for other people. She's like, that is your fault. Take accountability and start raising your sons better. And I was
Mhm.
like, that is so true. Because I have friends who I've watched baby their sons and know that their sons are dating 2 women at once and just blame it on age.
Ew. Yeah. No
Exactly.
good. No good. Um
Anyways.
yeah, I mean so much starts at the home, which obviously is goes back to those subconscious patterns. I do think that they do start very young and through the things that we see or the things that we don't see. So
Mm,
then we seek more of it elsewhere.
mhm,
Um yeah, and it's so interesting too just I now in the relationship I'm in now, it's awesome because I feel like I have the perfect balance of everybody from my past
mhm.
with all the things that I like in a person, with most of the things, how about that, that I like in people. So it's cool. It's cool.
I have a question.
Yes, Alikona.
Okay, so have you ever,
She
like,
just rose
looking
her
back.
hand.
Yes, yes. Looking back at the men that you've dated, been in relationships with, or even
Hmm.
just found cute when you were in
Hmm.
high school, whatever.
Okay.
Can you look at those guys and either A, recognize a pattern of something that they all had in common, whether it be like they all had curly hair or whatever that reminds you of your dad?
Well, everybody except David was, well, not dating, but most of the people that I dated were Latino.
Okay.
Um, and so that's a, but I mean, I just think culturally that's what I prefer. I just, you know, somebody that speaks Spanish, that my kids can speak, whatever. Um, um, maybe things with my ex-husband, possibly.
Mhm.
Um, but David for sure is different from my dad. And certain things very much the same. But yeah, I could see possibly.
Well,
I mean, look,
but
I
you
don't
have a
have.
good relationship with your dad. Like, that counts and
Hmm.
doesn't count. I think my question doesn't necessarily count because you're like, I love my dad. He's great. And I'm over here
Yeah,
like, well, uh,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I look. All of our parents are humans, right? So
mhm,
I, especially as an adult now, my dad was dad is a great dad. Obviously, like there's things just like as a human and whatever there you're like, oh, but because of things from his past that I'm like, there could be some growth there. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would say yes. Like they all had some things that are like, oh, this reminds me of my dad with like either like loving like David loves basketball and sports. Um, David's really strong and a man's man, and so is my dad. Um, yeah, but David's really silly and goofy, which actually my dad can be. He's not as like, he wasn't like that when we were growing up, but he's
Mm.
like all the time, right? He was the
Mhm.
disciplinary. But he is the creative and the artist. And but what about you? Like have
Oh.
for
Oh.
sure.
Oh, yes. And when I realize those things, I'm like, "Ugh, you have daddy issues."
Uh-huh.
Like, physically, I like men with either blue or green eyes. My dad had
Mhm.
blue eyes that would turn green or vice
Mhm.
versa, depending on what he was wearing. The yeah, I tend to like dudes that have, like, the same hair color, the same eye color, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "Is that a daddy issue?" Or I don't know.
Well, I
But
don't know if it's a daddy show. I mean, look, I remember in a perfect world, you know who my my favorite look was?
who?
Um y'all are gonna kill me for this. What's his name from The Little Mermaid?
Eric? Oh
Eric.
my god, I used to have the biggest crush on Eric.
But
Isn't that
that
funny?
yeah, because he had,
Blue
tall, dark,
eyes
and
and dark hair.
handsome. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But what's funny is that's who my dad was like when he was a kid. Like he was like my mom and dad have the cutest freaking picture of with my brother when he was little. My dad was yoked. Like he was super muscular. He had a lot of dark black hair. People used to compare him to like Elvis, even though he didn't, you know, love it, but like the Puerto Rican Elvis.
Mhm.
And then my dad has green eyes. Um, and he always jokes. My dad loves to tell this story that I mean, it's actually bad, but that his dad used to because his dad and mom split, but his dad would take him out all the time and choose him, not his other brother, because because he'd always get attention. Like my grandpa would get attention if he took
Yeah.
my dad out because my dad was
Aw.
like so cute. I was like, "Aw," but also that's fucked up.
Real
Um,
fucked up.
but
Aw.
yeah, so Eric was my type.
Nice. That's funny. Dude, I used to really like Paul Walker. Blonde
Okay.
hair, blue eyes,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But also behaviorally, I mean, I love a goofy dude. My dad was really,
Hmm.
really goofy, but I also gravitate towards men who don't pay me attention. And that's the thing, that's where I was going with that. Like, I noticed that last
Yeah.
year. I was like, why do the whole breadcrumb thing? It's my dad was an alcoholic. Look, he was focused on other
Yeah.
things. He was depressed. He um constantly started businesses that unfortunately failed and whatever, and so, like, he never paid me attention. He never went to events. I was a cheerleader, a
Hmm.
track runner, a dancer. He never attended any of those things. He's never seen me do any of those things. So as an adult, it's like I don't expect anybody to show up for me on anything that I do.
Hmm.
It's just not an expectation because it's not normal. And when a guy doesn't pay me enough attention, it doesn't even like occur to me because I'm
Hmm.
so used to having to earn people's attention that if I
Hmm.
don't, it's weird, and that's not healthy. I know
Yeah.
this. But yeah, or like, yeah, my dad used to get into trouble a lot as a young person, and I tend to go for dudes who they're bad boys. They used to get in trouble a lot, if not currently. And I'm like,
Hmm.
but why? Why is and you had even made mention today on the phone when we were talking, you're like,
Uh-huh.
when you come across a person who doesn't need fixing, you're probably gonna be bored. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think I think initially, but or you'll be like, what's wrong with you? Like
right.
I don't trust you. But I do think that when that right person does come and they plan the date and they do wow you with attention and really here's the thing, when somebody just matches your energy, that's all. Like we're nobody's, and because I don't want anybody listening to think like, oh, you girls asking for too much. No, I'm just asking to be matched, and
Mhm.
then somebody to match me and then go above, because we both are such givers, right? So
Mhm.
um when you meet your match, that's going to be so cool, cuz then you will have those, cuz you'll be able to be like, oh, you're like me. That's what I
Yeah, but
would
at the same
do.
time, it's like, how when is that supposed to happen? Like, I am blank years old. Like, at what point
Also, though, you just got out of a long relationship. Come on. You haven't even been in town for like a month straight without having to leave.
yeah,
So, yeah. And in the meantime, you have been dating and just having fun. So, it's going to come. It's just you just
yeah,
haven't really been out there, to be honest. You
yeah.
haven't had the time.
And I mean, well, and I haven't been interested up into the like I said, the current person that I was
Right.
like, "Oh, wow, you're cute." I don't think people are cute often. What's happening?
Yeah,
But yeah.
exactly. So, I think it's going to, the more you put it out there, and yeah, again, just that energetic thing,
I don't know,
you will
man.
find him. Or very
Well,
much like my friend, it'll come, hers kind of, this person that she's kind of now, seeing what's up, just kind of popped out of nowhere. So it's
I
gonna.
just I need to go to vegan festivals and gyms. That's what I
Mhm.
need to do. That's
Mhm.
where I'll find my person. Um,
Yeah.
but I do want to solutionize, right? Because we
Mhm.
always talk about like wanting to have a solution, and we've tossed out a lot of our own like personal situations and the
Yeah.
whole talking about patterns and recognizing them. Um, not everybody is aware of their patterns, so I encourage you if you do recognize, and when I say patterns, your own behavior patterns, how you show up. Not so
Correct.
start with I keep dating guys that don't want to commit. I keep dating guys that are married, or I keep being attracted to men who just don't want X, Y, and Z. And it's easy to blame the men in the world because there are a lot of shitty men out there, okay, and women.
I was
But
gonna say yes. Let's speak to the
yes,
gentleman too. Mhm.
yes, but how are you showing up, and what is your
Yes.
energy? Are you needy? Are you willing to accept things, pointing at myself, that are maybe not okay, but because you really like this person and you're afraid that they won't like you back, you just kind of go with the flow.
Mhm.
So if your friend is truly a good friend, ask them to be honest and be prepared to hear shit that you don't want to hear, but it's good to know. Like start and know and be like, "Hey, so is there anything like when I'm dating, do you and trust me, your friend has noticed."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and I
that's
mean
my
that takes bravery. That takes you being in a comfortable spot to hear them. Like I'd almost challenge you to just hear them and not say anything else.
mhm.
Just have them talk. Um, yeah, I love that. I think even just step one, recognizing what those patterns are. All right,
Mhm.
that's a great place to start. And also giving yourself grace and time to realize, like, it's like I said earlier, it's not it, healing and change takes so long.
Mhm.
So just
And
go into it knowing that.
when you do start your journey of healing and changing and showing up for yourself and
Yourself.
having higher standards, it's not uncommon for the people around you to be upset by that because they
Mm,
no longer can be lazy with you. They can no longer get away with certain things. So I say this not just to our single ladies and gentlemen, but people who are either dating or married. Because I've been in relationships where I did start some growth and the other person didn't care for it that much. And it's not like they
mhm,
verbally can say that to you and be like, I don't like that. It's just in their behavior, the resentment that
mhm,
happens when you start to ask for more and demand for more because all of a sudden you're being too much or being too picky or demanding. Please
mhm.
don't be deterred by those comments. Those comments are being made because that person, again, is being lazy and doesn't want to have to step up. But I encourage you to
Yes.
keep growing.
Yeah, that's huge. So, so, so huge. Um, and I want to go into our what if.
Mhm.
A little bit with kind of what went with my song. It's like, what if we were able to be more present more often? Um, and really celebrate all the good stuff that's happening in your now.
Mhm.
That's it.
Gosh, I have so many what ifs. What if I am able to accept that certain people just are the way they are and not have to change them? And what if that acceptance leads to change? Because we are always trying to change, whether it be our partners or our friends. And I think
Mhm.
the energy of trying to change that person and the pressure you're putting on that person causes resentment and them not to change. But if you can nudge somebody a little bit and then step back, maybe they'll grow. So, what
Mhm.
if there is growth with me? What if there's growth with the other person? What if, um, when I'm done with the tour that I'm doing, I end up on another tour? What if I cross this person again? I don't know. Those are my what ifs
Yeah.
without being super specific.
What if? Thank you guys always for opening your homes, your AirPods, your ears, wherever you are at, to our
Cars.
podcast. Yeah, your cars. Um and hopefully going on the journey and some of these challenges that we give you. And we'd love to hear about them. If you have heard something that has inspired you or inspired some kind of change, like please hit us up in the comments, DM us, whatever. If you want to take Alikona around the world and show her what it's like to be taken care of, you know how to reach her too.
What if hold on, I'm gonna end this with, and I think Val knows this, but I don't know if you remember
Ah,
this because you were talking about your ideal type and whatever.
yeah.
My ideal type, somebody I find really attractive in the celebrity world. I say that only because that way you know who
Yeah.
like my type, right?
Right.
Dated somebody that we know. And I remember when I found out, I was like, how? And not how because she's not attractive, wonderful, and beautiful, but like, how did she meet him? And then after they
Right.
broke up, I was like, she's not technically a good friend of mine, but still feels like friend code. And what are you talking about, Alikona? You'll never meet him. But I think that Jesse Williams is just the bee's knees. He's so cute to me. That's
There you
all.
go. So what if your Jesse Williams comes and
And you're
scoops you up?
listening. What if
Yeah,
Jesse
hey.
Williams is listening right? That's my what if. What if Jesse Williams is listening right now? What if he's willing to go vegan?
I love it.
Okay, that's all.
All right. Love you guys. Until next time. Mwah.
Mwah. Goodbye.